When someone you love is diagnosed with dementia, everything changes. Suddenly you are expected to know what to do, but no one teaches you how. After years of caring for people living with dementia, I've noticed something. The caregivers who feel more confident aren't the ones who know everything. The ones who understand the few simple principles and use them every day. In this video, I'm going to share the 7 things I believe every dementia caregiver should know first. Over the years, I've cared for many people living with dementia, and I've also met countless families who were doing their best, but they still felt overwhelmed. If you're at the beginning of this journey, I want to hear this first. You are not expected to know everything. The 7 principles I'm about to share won't solve every problem, but they will help you understand why dementia behaviors happen, avoid some of the most common mistakes, and make everyday caregiving feel a little more manageable. Think of this video as a foundation. Once you understand these 7 ideas, everything else became easier to learn. So, let's begin with the first one. The first things every caregiver needs to understand is this. Every behavior has a reason. When a person living with dementia repeats the same question, refuses to take a shower, becomes angry, or tries to leave the home, they are not trying to be difficult. They are trying to communicate the way their brain still can. The behavior is the message. Our job is to discover what that message is. Maybe they are in pain, maybe they are afraid, maybe they are confused, or maybe they are simply overwhelmed by what's happening around them. If we focus only stopping the behavior, we will often become frustrated. When we become curious instead, everything begins to change. So the next time something happens, don't ask yourself, how do I stop this behavior? Ask, what is this behavior trying to tell me? The second principle may be one of the hardest to accept. You cannot force someone living with dementia back into your reality. Imagine your mom say, I need to go home, but she's already at home. Your first instinct might be to say, Mom, you're home. It sounds logical, but dementia doesn't follow logic. To her, the feeling is real. She may be remembering where she felt safe, the home she raised her children, or simply a time in her life when everything made sense.
Look,
when we
the 13th.
argue, we usually create more fear, more confusion, and more distress. Instead, try to step into their reality before asking them to step into yours. You might say, tell me about your home, or what you miss about it. Or even, we will go a little later. Let's have some tea together. Notice you are not lying. You are responding to their emotion instead of fighting the memory. Always remember this. In dementia care, the feeling is often more important than the fact. When you respond to the feeling first, you will often discover that the behavior becomes much easier to manage. The third simple is surprisingly simple. People living with dementia do better with routine. As dementia progresses, the brain has harder time understanding a change, even small changes. A different breakfast, a late lunch, a new caregiver, or moving furniture can create confusion and sometimes distress. But when each day follows a similar pattern, the world begins to feel a little more predictable. Try to keep the same time for waking up, meals, medications, walks, and bedtime as much as you reasonably can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. And remember, a routine isn't just a schedule. It's something that quietly tells the person you are safe. If life interrupts the routine, and sometimes it will, don't blame yourself. Simply return to the routine as soon as you can. The fourth principle is about prevention. Don't wait for a crisis before making the home safer. As dementia progresses, things that once felt simple can quietly become dangerous. A loose rug, poor lighting, cleaning products left within reach, or a door that's easy to unlock may not seem like a big problem until something happens. You don't need to turn your home into a hospital. Start with the small changes. Improve the lighting. Remove tripping hazards. Keep medication and hazardous items safely stored. And if wandering is becoming a concern, think about ways to make exits more secure while still respecting the person's dignity.
All ready for us.
These changes aren't about making away independence. They are about protecting it for as long as possible. The safest homes usually don't happen because families react quickly. That happens because families planned early. A few small changes today can prevent a much bigger problem tomorrow. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give to someone you love. The fifth principle might be the one you need to hear the most. You do not have to be a perfect caregiver. I've met so many caregivers who felt guilty because they lost their patience, forgot something, or ended the day thinking, I should have done better. If you have ever felt that way, I want you to know you are not alone. Caring for someone with dementia is emotionally, physically, or mentally demanding. And that's normal. Your loved one doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be patient, kind, and present. Don't measure yourself by the hardest moment of the day. Measure yourself by the love, the effort, and the commitment you continue to show. Because being a good caregiver has never meant being a perfect one. Give yourself the same compassion that you give the person you're caring for. The sixth principle is one that many caregivers learn too late. Don't wait until you're exhausted to ask for help. Many caregivers tell themselves, I can handle this. And for a while, maybe they can. But dementia isn't a short journey. It's often a long one. No one was meant to carry that weight alone. Support can come in many forms. A family member, a trusted friend, a neighbor, supported group, respite care, or healthcare professional. You don't have to use every resource, but you shouldn't feel like you have to do everything by yourself. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. Because the strongest you are, the better you will be able to care for someone else. Remember this. Taking care of yourself isn't stepping away from your loved one. It's making sure you can keep showing up for them tomorrow, next month, and next year. The seventh and final principle is this: you matter too. When you love someone, it's easy to believe that every minute should be spent caring for them. But over time, many caregivers slowly stop taking care of themselves. They stop seeing friends. They stop exercising. They stop resting. And little by little, they begin to lose themselves. Here's something I want you to remember. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's one of the most important parts of being a good caregiver. A quiet cup of coffee, a short walk, a phone call with someone you trust, a few minutes of deep breathing, or simply taking a break without feeling guilty, because when you are healthier, calmer, and stronger, your loved one benefits too. If there is one thing I hope you take away from this video, is this. You don't have to know everything to become a great caregiver. Every day you will learn something new. If this video helped you, please consider subscribing Nurse Hadi Care. And don't forget to take care of yourself too.